Hi everybody, welcome back to Cookies and Cash. Before we get started with my debt confession part 2, I want to let you know what the cookie of the day is today. This is from budget-friendly option, a grocery store called Aldi, which a lot of you probably know, but for those of you who don't know, it's a fantastic store for buying inexpensive groceries when you're on a tight budget like I am right now. So this is the Benton's Caramel Coconut Fudge Cookie, which looks delicious. I'll wait until I get off of here to start indulging in that. But for now, let me go over, like I said, my debt confession part 2. This is going to be the 11 money mistakes, at least 11. I know I've made more than that, that I made that sort of got me where I am right now. For those of you who haven't seen it, I did film my original debt confession, which sort of shows you how much debt I owe, how I'm breaking it down, how I broke it down, how I'm going to save and pay for my debt, and a couple of other really good things. Just a little bit about my story. So this one is just going to be some lessons as I was thinking about everything that I've done and how I got here. Just a couple of things that I have realized that I did. So number one, big one, is going to be living on student loans. Living on student loans. And no, this was not buying a car or fancy clothes. I mentioned in my first video that I have a master's degree. I was in graduate school, and my husband and I, ex-husband and I at the time, and I had a young daughter, and we made the mistake, instead of trying to figure out how to live, I guess, more frugally, or to get another job, or just to cut down on expenses, we lived a lot on student loans. And that was over the course of a number of years. And so that's really, I think, part of the reason why my balance is so incredibly high. Again, for those of you who haven't seen the original debt confession video, my debt is in total $275,000, and the bulk of that is student loans. Number 2, stupid mistake, getting a pet. Now, I love pets. I grew up with pets. I don't have a pet right now, not because I'm being well, partially yes, I am being, a little bit careful with my money right now. I had a cat that I had to actually put down, so right now I have no pet. But a couple of years ago, I was feeling very lonely and wanted to get a dog. And there was a free dog. A friend of mine, colleague, was giving away a dog that was a stray that used to come around their house. I got the dog without any thought to what it was going to cost to buy leashes and collars and food and go to the vet, and all of these wonderful things. So eventually, I had to give my dog away because I couldn't afford to properly take care of her, and I was out of pocket hundreds and hundreds of dollars before I actually realized this. So I'm not rushing into getting another pet anytime soon. I've already gone to a store and sort of done an initial, just a very quick, maybe 15, 20-minute round to see what would be just a basic outlay if I wanted to get a dog, and it's at least $400. $400 to $500 just for the basic stuff to get started. So that is not in the budget right now. So we will be getting a pet at a later time. In the meantime, I get to cat sit for my Twitter and enjoy fluffy company. So the third one, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to, putting food on a credit card. Yeah, like I said, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. This is incredibly not fiscally responsible. I actually very recently did this before I got on this journey and really sort of decided I was going to buckle down and start paying down debt and start saving money. I called up a friend. This wasn't even her. I called up a friend who's treated me several times to lunch and to dinner, and hadn't seen her in a while, wanted to get together with her, and of course I suggested going out somewhere to eat, which is what we normally do. And of course I wasn't really thinking through how I was going to pay for this, and then I felt guilty because she'd paid for me so many times. I felt like I needed to pay for her, which is true, but this was not the time to do that. And since I didn't have $100 in cash to pay for lunch, I put it on a credit card. The entire time sitting there sweating and thinking, I cannot believe I just put $100 on a credit card for lunch, and I'm not going to be paying this off at the end of the month. So yeah, that was the most recent. And number 4, which is sort of goes along with number 3, overspending on food in general. Okay, so This is groceries, this is fast food, this is packaged food, and this is especially delivery food. Somehow, I guess I thought that I could pop out multiple 30, 35, $40 deliveries without really having the money for that or having budgeted for it at all. I was not living on any kind of budget for my food. Food has been my big one. That's where I spend the most money right now, is on food. And it typically is delivery. That's where I'm really getting slammed. Fast food, yes, but delivery especially. There's some impulse buys, just things that I will grab when I go to the store for something else. No planning, no meal planning, no sticking to a list, no eating through my pantry. But I'm doing all of those things right now. This is my first month really sort of going full on with trying to manage my money, trying to get my savings started, and mostly getting my savings started because that's where I'm starting, and then cutting back. So my budget is really slim this month. For food, I will be doing a video about that just to kind of let you know how I'm making it through, because this is a pretty exceptionally tight budget month, and I have to see if I can do it myself, but I'm committed to that. So another big one, oh my gosh, overspending on home decor. Oh my goodness. I love to keep a cute house. And when my daughter was younger, I really loved to keep a cute house. And so I couldn't walk into a store without seeing something adorable that I thought would look really nice in the house. Later, when I divorced and sort of moved into my own places, I felt like I need to make this a home. I was married for 22 years, so a really long time, and had got married really young, so I'd never sort of had my own place. So when I got my own place, without really having saved or anything, I went out and I got personal loans, literally, to decorate my house. Not even just for the basics. I think it started out with, there are basic things that I need, and then quickly, devolved into, this would look great on the wall. How about these throw pillows? And just tons of stuff for the house, and that's so easy to do. Easy to do, especially when you're talking about holidays. So I've spent a tremendous amount of money over the years, no budget, just making my house look adorable, yet having no cash. Okay, and I just mentioned her, but number 6, overspending on my daughter. When she was young. She is now a full-grown adult who, believe it or not, has incredible money management skills. She is my accountability partner. I don't know where she got it from. She didn't get it from me. But when she was little, I couldn't walk into a store without seeing something I thought was just adorable that I had to buy her. So Christmas was a blowout, just all the time. There was stuff I was getting her, something cute that I saw, foods, somewhere, just on and on and on. And I think that that's kind of easy to do with kids as well, especially little girls, at least with, moms and little girls, although I know there are a lot of daddy's girls out there, so not trying to leave out your dads. But yeah, I spent, so again, no budget, no thinking through this, just, this is adorable, I love my daughter, I'm going to get this for her. No thought. I have a feeling she will not be doing that with my grandchildren. Okay, number 7, too many grad school programs. So let me explain this one. I took a while to figure out what I wanted to do. Thought I wanted to go to law school, so that was where I was sort of spending all of my energy and time and studying and all that good stuff. Going to law school. Got there, and decided this was really not for me, was not going to work for me. So I left, but unfortunately I left and had absolutely no plan, was completely floundering when it came to, what am I going to do now? Because I thought I was going to law. I planned to go to law school since I was maybe 10 years old. So I was thinking, I have no clue what to do. So I sort of ran through all these different graduate programs, and I can't even count them up. There are quite a few. Like should I study graduate journalism? Should I study, I was an English major. Should I study journalism? Maybe I should go into accounting because that's going to be a field that's, a good practical choice. It just went on and on and on. And so I tried a couple different programs, of course, each time being paid for with student loans, because that was the easiest, quickest, fastest way to do it. and certainly made it way too easy to jump into a whole bunch of programs without having a real plan or any idea what I was going to do, if it was something that would even work for me, if it was right for me and my personality and my skill set, none of that. So that, along with, of course, living on student loans, this is why I have so much in student debt. When I came out of undergrad, I really didn't have very much. It was a lot of money for the 90s. I think it was $12,000, but the bulk of my 200,000 plus, which a lot of that, of course, is interest now, but 180,000 is the principal, and that was it's grad school programs and living on the loans. That all came after undergraduate. I wasn't doing too bad when I came out of undergraduate. Even law school wasn't that bad because it was an in-state, so can't even blame it on that. Okay, I did some out-of-state schools, just everything. Number 8. Oh yes, all of this. No budget, just no budget. What I've done for years, which I called a budget, was really just a list of my bills. So I would check off when things were paid, but I had no real budget. We didn't sit there and go, well, we're going to do $150 on groceries, whatever it was. We just had no budget. It would just, neither my husband nor I had grown up budgeting. We didn't see budgeting. Nobody around us did that. Really wasn't a lot of saving going on in either one of our families. So not the best financial examples, but we were certainly educated enough to know better. We just didn't know how to manage our money and weren't trying hard enough to figure out how to manage our money. So I worked on no budget at all. And I'm not doing that now. I am on a budget, and it is going to be an interesting experience for me, for sure. I just admit to myself now that I want all the things. So like every time I, don't get something or I'm thinking about getting something, I'm not even trying to fool myself. Like I really do. I want all the things. I want to eat in all the restaurants. I want to do that, but I'm choosing not to do that right now. I heard a frugal YouTuber say that the other day. Like, I'm choosing not to do this right now. And that puts power back in my hands. Number 9, also very similar. No savings. Not too surprisingly, since there's no budget. So money would always be gone. There would be no money for savings. And this is not even just for an emergency fund, which is huge, but this is also no savings for big events, no savings for a move, no savings for, a graduate school program, no savings for anything that we really needed to be saving for. And so all, these two things especially combined with no budget and no savings, although I think this one is kind of at the base of everything. I've spent so much money and gotten so many ridiculous loans because I just had no savings and decided I wanted to do something. So I was being impulsive and kind of rash and had no money to back myself up. And then number 10, not tracking my spending. So, not too surprisingly, since I don't have a budget, that I don't track my spending. I have done this, in all fairness. I mean, I have done this once or twice before, but not for a considerable amount of time or enough time. And also, I don't think not in the way that I really needed to. Maybe not seriously enough about it. Just not really taking the time to, what am I going to do with all this information? I'm writing down these things that I bought at a store. What does all this mean? How do I analyze this? What do I do with this? So not tracking it all, and then when I did track, not really having a plan for all these miscellaneous things that I was writing down, and I couldn't track them into a budget, which I'm using EveryDollar right now, which I mentioned in my first video. And if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch it. This is just debt confession, $275,000. I will put a link in the box below, in the description box below. And so I'm using that right now, and that allows me to kind of go in and put in all of my spending, all of my expenses, like as I go along through the months. Every time I go to the grocery store, I'm doing it down to the penny to actually do it to zero, budgeting down to zero. For those of you that don't know Dave Ramsey, which it's hard to know, anybody would not know Dave Ramsey. He's such a king in this field. He has a whole system called the baby steps. And although I will not be doing the baby steps exactly the way that he says to do them, I am going to be modifying them a little bit based on a couple of things, my age, a couple of things. That's probably the biggest one. And just the amount of my debt. But EveryDollar is his app, but they also have a desktop version, which is what I'm using. And it's all based on budgeting all the way down to zero, so that every single dollar that you bring in has a job. And so, this dollar will go towards rent, and this dollar will go towards food, and on and on and on until you get to like every last dollar, so nothing's hanging out there. So, but in the past, no, none of that. And number 11, applying for too many credit cards. So, this one is also very interesting. I think I went through a phase where I've gone through a long phase, and I suspect I'm not alone with this one either, but where, getting a credit card was some sort of sign of, approval, or that you've made it, or you were special somehow, all of this stuff. And, credit card companies play into that, banks play into that, gold cards, black cards, yada, 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 all this stuff to make you feel even more special when you're spending all this money. And if you're not paying it off every month. My daughter's able to do that. Like I said, she's very good with money. So she's one of the few people that actually can do that and does it every single month, pays it off every single month, and can use the credit responsibly and uses it for points and, and cash back and all of those good things. But, for me, it was something about applying for a card and getting it and feeling the joy and rush of the new card and just things that don't really make any sense. But I will say that one of the things I'm doing right now, spending a lot of time doing, is thinking about the mentality, the psychology of spending and acquiring debt and kind of getting into the situation that I'm in. What does that mean? Why did I get here? What is my mindset? Because I think if I don't change the mindset around this, then I will I'll just do this all over again. I'll maybe be able to scramble my way out of debt, maybe, or at least partially out of debt and just go straight back in again. So things have to change internally. Psychologically they have to change, or else nothing here will change, nothing will stick. So anyway, those are my 11 money mistakes. And I hope you guys found this interesting. This is again part of just my second part of my debt confession. As I was thinking through how did I get to $275,000 in debt, I came up with these 11 things. So thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, please subscribe if you want to see more of my journey. I'm going to be posting other videos. I'm going to try right now for once a week. Have a couple of different ideas in mind, so hopefully you guys will subscribe. Like the video if you found it useful, and share it and turn on the bell so you'll know when I upload another video. Thanks guys. Bye.